Good morning, children. Welcome to Harleen ma'am's class. Today, grade 7 images. We're going to do a poem, Somebody's Mother by Mary Doe Brine. She was born in New York in 1816 till 1913. She's a children's author. And through this poem, she draws attention to youth, the age, and also the meaning of family relationships. That one should be kind is not the only message. It also stresses the essential ties which bond family and people and friends together. So are we all ready? Somebody's Mother by Mary Doe Brine. All right, that's chapter 6 from Images, grade 7. We all have some special occasion when we spend time with our grandparents, especially during these times. I'm sure you're spending a lot of time with them, must be talking to them about what they have suffered or what they overcame during the past couple of years, and what are the problems and fears and regrets the old people have. So kindly have a discussion with your grandparents, and the reflect part, that is, what are the problems and the fears and the regret that old people have. Well, imagine that one day you just wake up in the morning and you find yourself old as gold, but you don't want to wake up at 14-year-old or a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old waking up. So just imagine, that could be a creative part, and I would like you to draw what you are going to look like when you are old, and what are your thoughts and feelings now in a form of a diary entry. All right, moving to this poem. This poem is about this old woman who is very patiently, anxiously, and very nervously, she is waiting to cross the road. That's all she wants to do. She wants to cross the road. But she's so nervous because of the traffic, and because she is old, she's feeble, she's timid, she's not very unsteady on her feet. So she's not really sure that she'll be able to do that all by herself. And you know what happens? A young schoolboy like one of you, he just sees her anxiety and he rushes to help her. How many of you have actually helped, especially old people or people who are handicapped and have some difficulty? I'm sure you all have. Yes, that's like a good boy and good girls. All right. Now, the woman was old and ragged and grey and bent with the chill of winter's day. The street was wet with the recent snow, and the women's feet were aged and slow. She stood at the crossing and waited long, alone, uncared for, amid the throng of human beings who passed her by, nor heeded the glance of her anxious eye. Down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, came the boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the slow, piled white and deep. Past the woman, so old and grey, hastened the children on their way, nor offered a helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to stir, lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. At last came one of the merry troop, the gayest laddie of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low, "I'll help you cross if you wish to go." Her aged hand on his strong young arm she placed, and so without hurt or harm, he guided the trembling feet along, proud that his own were firm and strong. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. She's somebody's mother, boys, for all she's aged and poor and slow. And I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother, you understand? If ever she's poor and grey, when her own dear boy is far away, and somebody's mother bowed her head in her home that night, and the prayer she said was, God, be kind to the noble boy who is somebody's son and pride and joy. I hope you enjoyed the poem as much as I enjoyed reciting it. Do subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I will be doing the explanation now. All right, children, now I move on. All right, children, I move on to the explanation of the poem, Somebody's Mother. The woman was old and ragged and grey and bent with the chill of winter's day. The poet is describing the woman in this paragraph. She's old, she's aged, and her clothes are ragged, They're not really fresh clothes, they're ragged, and she's grey. Why is she grey? You can be grey when you're sad, you're gloomy, you're not cheerful. And why she bent with the chill of winter's day. It's so cold, and she's feeling cold, and hence when you're feeling cold, you kind of go like that with your shoulders. And the street was wet. Why was the street wet? It was slippery because it had just snowed. And the woman's feet were aged. She's old, and obviously then they are a little slow. She stood at the crossing and waited long. Now this line tells us that she's been waiting there for a very long time. She's anxious to cross because she herself is old and the road is slippery. She's alone and uncared for amid the throng, amid the middle of the crowd of human beings who passed her by. It's not a lonely road, it's not a lonely street. There are people who are crossing her, but nobody is really paying attention to her, nor heeded the glance of her anxious eye. People are so busy, doing their mundane chores. Nobody has paid attention to her anxious eye, waiting to just help her cross by. Down the street, now the same street, right down, there's a school there, and just their boys' school, and these boys have just come out of the school. They are glad in the freedom of school let out. You know how you do when the bell rings for the last period? Yes, we have a lot of discipline in the school, but still you all are itching to just scream and shout and run towards your buses. It's time to go home. So like this, the boys have just come out like a flock of sheep. All together they've come out, hailing the snow piled white and deep. So there's snow there and they're having fun with that. And they passed the woman so old and grey. They also are, when you're also playing and with a group of friends, you really don't observe and see what's around, yes? So they passed the woman who is so old and grey, hastened the children on their way, and they hurry up on their way, and nor offered a helping hand to her. Nobody offered a helping hand to her. Nobody extended any help to the old lady. So meek, so timid, afraid to stir. She's so timid, she's so gentle, so weak. She doesn't want to stir to move. Why? Why is she so scared? Because A, she's old, B, the ground is slippery because of recent snow, and then she's scared lest, the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery. She's scared that there might be a horse carriage coming, and she might just slip and be under the horse's feet, crushed. But then what happens? At last, one of the merry troop. Who's the merry, happy troop here? The group of boys who have been let out in the school. So what happens? One of them is a boy or a girl like you, yes? It's all right. We can say it to girls also. This specially is for the boys, but all right. So what happens? He comes, and at last one of the merry troop, one of them, the gayest laddie of all the group, happiest boy of the group, he paused beside her. He just stops next to the old lady. And you know what? He just doesn't hold her hand and cross over. He just stands there and he whispers in her ear. What does he whisper? He says, I'll help you cross if you wish to go. Obviously, He observed her, he noticed her, so he just asked her that, okay, I can help you out. Her aged hand, now aged, her old hand, he holds. Can you see it in the picture? She puts it on his arm, which are nice and strong. He guided the trembling feet along. Her feet are trembling, obviously. She's scared also, and she's old also. And the boy is proud that his own arms and feet are firm and strong. Then back, after he helps her cross the road, he goes back to his friends. And what does he do? His heart is so happy. When you do something nice, when you do something good, you help somebody, so don't you feel so good about yourself? Yes? Yes, I'm sure you do feel good about yourself. His heart is happy and he's content. He's satisfied. You know what he tells her friends back there? He says, you know what? She's somebody's mother, just like we all have one. Yes, she's somebody's mother, boys, Now she's all aged, she's old, she's poor, and she's slow. But he says, I hope that I hope there is somebody to help my mother when she's old and aged. I hope that somebody helps my mother when I am grown up and I'm doing my work somewhere and my mother is old by herself. He says, I hope there'll be a boy like me who will come and help my mother, you understand, if ever she's poor and grey. When her own dear boy, when he is talking that when he is far away, maybe he's gone to work, and somebody's mother, and that old lady he had helped, she goes back home and you know what? She bows her head in front of God and she says a little prayer. What do you think the prayer is? She says, God, be kind to the noble boy who is somebody's son, pride and joy. So she showers her blessings onto the boy and says, I hope, God, you're there for this boy always, and who is somebody's son, pride and joy. Right? So many blessings you get when you help somebody. So this poem, like we discussed earlier, the message is not only to be kind, but also lay stress on all the important, essential ties which are going to bond people together. They bind people, families, and even friends who are like family. All right, children, if you enjoyed the poem and you understood, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.